Today on the CTV News at 5, a contractor is named for the new police training college in Fort Macleod. Plus, why a skateboard store video is going viral. And victims of residential school abuse get new lawyers in their claims for compensation.
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. The construction contract has been awarded for Fort Macleod's highly anticipated police training center. Fort Macleod Mayor Sean Patience got word from Alberta Infrastructure that Burr Design Build Construction Company will start the project this summer. The province committed to the $122 million law enforcement training center 5 years ago, but stalled during the recession. The learning center is expected to train 1,000 officers each year, and the project will create hundreds of jobs and change the face of Fort Macleod.
Obviously, those dollars will turn over here and have a tremendous impact even in the construction phase. And then once it's operational, you'll see 300 students here on a full-time basis and 75 new staff members in the facility. In a town of 3,000, the impact is just going to be incredible.
Construction is expected to be complete by August 2014, so the training facility can open that September. And police are investigating a two-vehicle crash in North Lethbridge that sent one person to hospital. The driver of an SUV was pulled from his cab by fire and EMS and taken to hospital with undetermined injuries. The collision happened just before noon in an industrial area in North Lethbridge. The SUV collided with a half-ton that flipped over and landed on its roof. The driver of that vehicle wasn't injured, but his construction and drywall equipment was spread all over the street. The intersection is marked with a stop sign. RCMP continued to investigate a fatal motorcycle accident near Writing-on-Stone Provincial Park over the weekend. Police say a man was riding his motorbike east of the park on Sunday when he lost control on a gravel road and crashed in the ditch. EMS from Milk River attended, but the driver was pronounced dead at the scene. Alcohol isn't believed to be a factor. The man's name has not been released. And the family of a man born in Lethbridge who drowned on the Bow River says he died a hero.
Family perspective, we're just trying to do the best we can under the situation and trying to cope with the tragic and terrible loss that our family has suffered.
Nick Cool says his Uncle Brad sacrificed his own life to try to save his friends near Calgary. The 44-year-old experienced outdoorsman was rafting with 3 others near the Harvey Passage on the holiday Monday. They'd been warned not to go on the fast-flowing river, but chose to go anywhere. Their raft flipped near the rapids. His body was recovered near the fish hatchery. He died in hospital. Cool's family says he died trying to save a friend. He never made it out.
Him and 2 of the other 3 were kind of closer to shore and had the opportunity to go ashore. He did not see the other person that they were with, turned around and went back out to find that person. That's when things turned for the worse.
Now, it's not unusual for a skateboard video to go viral online, but it doesn't usually involve an alleged theft. This surveillance video is from Borderline in downtown Lethbridge on Friday afternoon. Shows a male and 3 young children as well as a female leaving a store. The male checks over his shoulder, then grabs a skateboard and carries it out the door. Because there's a possibility the man is under 18, we've blurred out his face. The store owner posted the video online yesterday and says it's already got more than 12,000 hits. He says staff recognize the people as regular customers, and the owner hopes the publicity will encourage the suspect to return the property, and it might discourage this type of behavior.
I mean, ultimately, I want to get the guy's skateboard back. It wasn't product of the Borderline. It was one of my employees' personal skateboards. For me, more so, it's more disturbing than anything to see a family like that encouraging that sort of thing and showing that to the little ones that it's okay.
Charlie, the employee whose skateboard was taken, has filed a police report and police are investigating. The board costs around $200 and it was how he got back and forth from work each day. Okay, Dory Rossiter, we think all the wind has finally pushed through and now the sunny skies are ahead.
Yeah, there's still heavy rainfall warnings up north in the Fort McMurray area, but here in the south, we're looking at some pretty nice conditions coming up. Temperatures starting to really warm up. For you folks watching in the Hat, you could be at 35 degrees on Monday. I'll have all the warm details coming up in a couple of minutes.
Thanks, Dory. And speaking of some wild weather, residents near Didsbury and Olds spent the day cleaning up after a suspected tornado left a path of destruction. Environment Canada has yet to confirm it, but residents insist it was a twister. The backhoes were out helping clear out some of the debris today. The strong wind uprooted trees. Residents are banding together to remove broken branches from their neighbor's property. There are reports that 2 twisters may have touched down west of Didsbury. And now, meantime, this video of a funnel cloud was captured southeast of Stettler. There was also a report of a tornado near Halkirk, about 205 kilometers southeast of Edmonton. One family is left without part of their roof because the woman ran from her kitchen window yesterday after seeing a piece of her roof flying through the air. Well, the compensation claim files of more than 1,000 residential school survivors from the Blood Reserve are being reviewed and now handed over to new lawyers. All of the files were originally handled by Calgary lawyer David Blott, who has since been banned from handling survivor claims. An investigation determined that the clients were receiving inadequate representation, and in some cases, Blott had helped facilitate high-interest loans for clients in anticipation of a big settlement. A former justice with the BC Supreme Court is now examining the files to make sure that they're all dealt with and receive fair compensation. But as Terry Vogt reports, even he admits it will be a monumental task.
I'm committed to this task, and I'm determined to make it work.
Retired BC Supreme Court Justice Ian Pitfield has the monumental task of making sure thousands of former students of Indian residential schools receive fair treatment and compensation. The problem is, no one can say for sure yet just how many claims have been impacted by a decision to remove Calgary lawyer David Blott and his company from the independent assessment claim process. It's thought Blott represented up to 5,000 people and as many as 1,000 from the Blood Reserve.
And one of the reasons I'm here today is to reassure the people in this community that there is a face behind the name and that my interest is their interest. It's not that of lawyers or the Government of Canada. I want to see a fair resolution.
Blood Chief Charles Weaselhead was one of Blott's clients. His claim has already been dealt with, but he was instrumental in having the claims investigated after hearing stories from others in the community who were unhappy with the process.
Bottom line, a number of individuals began to come to my office and to me personally, and it really alarmed me at what was going on.
A lot of the people here are still in the dark about what's going to happen with their claims.
Jackie Redcrow is coordinator of the Blood Tribe Residential School program. She says many band members were unaware of the support services available to help them through the claims process. Justice Pitfield says the big unknown is what they now call the unsubmitted claims.
They would fill out a form, and those forms have been accumulated. Nothing's been done with them.
The judge describes the task ahead of him as gargantuan. His staff is in the process of going through 650 boxes of documents containing over 3,000 files in various states of completion. Even so, Justice Pitfield says he's determined to see a fair resolution to the problems that have plagued these individuals over so many years. Terry Vogt, CTV News, on the Blood Reserve.
Justice Pitfield says he is in the process of finding lawyers for those who were being represented by David Blott and the Blott and Company. He wants to assure residential school survivors that any claims that have already filed remain valid and that any claims the Secretariat has documentation for will be entered into the process before the September 19th deadline. The case of a Florida man caught at the Coots border crossing with a huge cache of weapons was back before the courts today. In February, border guards found 75 firearms, including 48 handguns, a blowgun, a pistol, crossbow, and 23 high-capacity magazines in the man's pickup truck. The largest seizure ever at the Coots border crossing. 54-year-old George Foster is facing 15 charges. His case was set over until July the 12th. Foster's lawyer is hoping to resolve the case at that next court appearance. And the case of a 13-year-old Fort Macleod boy charged with attempted murder and arson was in Lethbridge Youth Court today. Back on March 10th, firefighters pulled a 17-year-old boy from a burning home in Fort Macleod. The boy was airlifted to Calgary with life-threatening head and neck injuries where he underwent surgery. RCMP say the teen was violently attacked at the home right before the fire started. The 13-year-old accused was living with the family at the time. The youth completed a 30-day psychiatric and medical assessment. He'll return to court on July the 18th. Alberta's International Air Show announced its official performance schedule and is set to take off in less than 3 weeks.
I like the fire.
Organizers say it may be the fastest and loudest year ever, with 10 jet acts, Firecat and CF-18 shows, skydivers, even a jet-powered out-of-house. Now, there will also be static displays of many private, corporate, and military aircraft, and the chance to take helicopter rides. The show runs July 21st and 22nd. It's debuting in all-day format this year, with gates opening at 8 and shows running until 5:30 each day. A single mother and her 3 young children will benefit from this year's Habitat for Humanity build, which is now underway in West Lethbridge. Erin Sullivan says she has been moved to tears as she watches her new home take shape. Sullivan, who works at Extendicare, will have to contribute 500 hours of sweat equity to cover the down payment. Construction started in late May, and the project is now moving into the Building Blitz stage. Organizers say they can still use volunteer workers. The site is open daily from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and volunteers must be at least 18, but all levels of skill are needed, and there are jobs for everyone.
It's brought me to tears several times over the last month. It's amazing. It's overwhelming, and just, it's home. And I couldn't have done it without these guys. There's no way.
We're now in the official Blitz build portion of the build. So the next 2 weeks we're going to go gangbusters. And we won't be finished after those 2 weeks. There'll still be lots of work to do for the next 2 months. So people who have any desire to come out, we'd love to have them, and we can put them to work.
The Building Blitz goes until July the 14th. The Habitat home is located at 128 Temple Boulevard West. And on the markets today, south of the border, markets were closed to honor July the 4th. Here's the markets that were open.